Wow.
Last week it was I actually had my down about Cincinnati in massive trouble, particularly offensively. We may be finding the answer, and we'll certainly know it if they lose to Arizona this week. This week, the flip side is, are the Texans actually good?
Yeah.
Ooh, CJ Stroud.
20-point win against Jacksonville 2 weeks ago. Absolutely boat race Pittsburgh this week. Wasn't even competitive. Really on the improve. Like, they've only conceded 2 touchdowns in the last 9 quarters as well. CJ Stroud hasn't yet thrown an interception.
Yeah, no picks yet. Most amount of completions without a pick, I believe, to start a career.
Wow. Yeah, that is true. And a schedule coming up, like Atlanta, New Orleans, Carolina, the next 3 weeks. Like,
Very winnable.
Very winnable. Like, they got a lot of games against teams that are not locked in playoff contenders. Tampa, Bengals at the moment, Arizona, Jets with their quarterback issues, Cleveland, whose quarterback may not play, Tennessee. Like, there's no nailed on guaranteed playoff teams. They don't play Bills, Dolphins, Chiefs, Philly, Dallas, San Fran. Like, they've got a pretty easy schedule because they stank last year. But they could be a 500 team the way they're playing or more.
Yeah, their entire division are all locked up at 500 at the moment, aren't
all
they?
2-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Jacksonville are probably better than Houston, but there's been a month already and they're not.
Yeah,
Got beat by them last week.
A bit shaky, aren't they?
Yeah, but I just think, I'm a big believer in CJ Stroud. I said this last week. He looks better than I think. Like, he's a top 10 quarterback at the moment.
Yeah.
Right? He looks better than any other rookie quarterback this year. Bryce Young does not look like he should. He looks like he needs to sit. He's having a tough time. But Anthony Richardson's looking okay. But
Were they the only 3 quarterbacks to go in the first round in the draft?
Yeah, this year.
Because Will Levis fell out of the
Will Levis fell out into the second, and he just looks like a hot mess. But no, CJ Stroud looks like a legitimate top 10 quarterback, and he's already a leader of that team, and I think that's what makes the biggest difference. He's commanding that locker room. He said something in his press conference, was it this week with his past win? He's like, the Texans fans deserve wins. And, he wasn't saying something just to say it. You could see it in his eyes. Like, this kid's got fire, he's got moxie, and he's out there to genuinely win games. When's the last time the Texans could be really this proud of their franchise? It's been a while.
I think, but if you go back to the last time they had essentially a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback that was highly rated out of college, they had Watson and O'Brien, and they were a good team for a couple of years.
They were.
Yeah, like it could be repeating itself, and it's a division that just,
Hope so.
Honestly, like, since the Peyton Manning Colts era, like, it's just up
It's
and
right
down.
for the taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
They could be good. They really could be.
Yeah, a kid might have a chip on his shoulder. I don't know if you guys remember, like, leading up to the draft, all the quarterbacks are doing this, like, quick thinking aptitude test, and Stroud tested really poorly in that, and there was a lot of media outcry around all that. And
Yeah.
I mean, look, the kid went second overall.
Second.
I mean, fuck, it's pretty high, but like,
Well,
yeah, I mean, he has something to prove because everyone's talking about Bryce Young because first overall. Everyone's talking about Anthony Richardson because he's just this raw talent from Florida.
athletic freak.
Everyone's talking about Will Levis because he eats bananas, including the skin, and drinks mayonnaise. Like, no one was talking about CJ Stroud. It's kind of got forgotten about.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Welcome to the league, CJ. Pretty fucking stellar start.
He's been awesome.
But no, Mitch, you're right, man. Like, they're definitely not tanking for Caleb. They don't need to tank for no one, obviously. They just drafted a quarterback, obviously. But everyone kind of pegged them as like, it's either going to be them. Well, last year it was just Arizona, Houston. We were arguing who has the worst list. And they're making do with Nico Collins. They're I don't know who else the fuck they have, but
yeah, well, this is
they're making do with what they have.
Thing, though. They don't have any other talent that makes you say. Good example is, did anyone draft a Texans player onto their fantasy team this year?
No, I wouldn't have even considered it.
No, exactly right. But take a look at what's happening in the league. Nico Collins right now, I think, is like the 7th or 8th fantasy wide receiver. Right?
Waiver wire.
Yeah, which nobody has a clue who this guy is 4 weeks ago, and now suddenly he's an exciting young wide receiver. How much of that do you put on CJ Stroud? How much of that do you put on D'Amico Ryans? Because that guy has turned this franchise around.
You would, like, at this stage, most people would have expected the Texans to be 0-4.
I think I did.
They're a really impressive 2-2.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, before the season started, I went and did like a big multi on all the division winners, and unfortunately, the Jets were involved. So clearly, I've wasted all my money because that's not going to happen now. But Jacksonville was paying like $1.10 to win the division.
Were they that short?
Yeah, it was that short because no one expected anyone else in that division to do anything. Now it's a completely different story. 4 weeks into the season. I mean, obviously, I know it's tight across the whole division there, but fuck me. Look at how good these Texans are.
Even that now, like, I still think Jacksonville will finish ahead of them in the South, but there's more scope for wild cards in the AFC than what there were because of injury and because of form. The Jets and Cincinnati probably are going to go worse than what people thought they would at the start before the start.
Absolutely.
So there's 2 teams that were nailed on playoff teams that are in trouble from a playoff perspective at this stage.
Yep, and now suddenly the field's opened up. Yep. So good on them. I love to see it.